start with our alignment to begin with. So let's have our feet about hip width apart. And remember, we're looking for the little bony projections on the front of your pelvis and lining your feet up with those. Have a look at the outside edges of your feet and try and get them as straight as possible. Even if that means that your feet are turned in a little bit, that's okay. And then back your weight up through your heels so that your toes are free. So you can give your toes a little wriggle because the toes aren't holding all of your weight. Let's find a neutral pelvis. So we're not tucking our bottom right under, and also we're not sticking it right out. We want to be kind of halfway between those 2 points. Let your ribs relax down. Arms are down by your sides. And then looking into the distance and thinking about growing tall through the top of your head. Let's just take 3 really deep breaths here. So get as much air in as you can as you inhale. And a long, slow exhale, getting rid of all of that stale air. Do a couple more like that, just in your own time. And one more breath. And we're going to start with some gentle head turns. So just turn your head as far as you can to one side, coming back through centre and over to the other side. Move nice and slow. And all the time you're noticing, how does it feel? Is it the same on both sides? Does it feel restricted? Is it crunchy? Just see how it feels. And as you come back into centre this time, let's pause there. We're going to do shoulder rolls now. Let your arms just be floppy and hang down by your sides. And then let's really circle the shoulders around. Make the movement as exaggerated as you can, so really pull the shoulders forwards and up and back and down. Let's get those shoulders really moving. And then reverse and go the other way. Good. One more. And then we're going to take our arms out to the side. Palms are facing away from you, so we've got that stop sign, but let's have a little slight bend in the elbow. And we're going to do little circles here. So little circles. And then reverse, go the other way. We're going to bring the arms out in front, again palms facing away from you, little circles. And reverse. Good, and then lowering your arms down. We're going to have a look at the legs now. Let's do some knee raises. So can you just lift knees, alternate sides. Lift as high as you can, but don't use your arms. Just let that knee come up as high as you can. How about can you tap your opposite knee with your hand? So let's just get the arms doing a little bit of work. Just getting your heart rate up a little bit. How about, can you reach the outside of your ankle? So as you lift your leg, you're going to reach same side arm down to tap the outside of your ankle. It's going to make you lift your knee up a little bit higher. Good. And pause there. As you bring your knee up this time, we're going to do some ankle circles. So bringing that knee up, hold, and circle your ankle around. Let's do 5 in each direction. And if your balance isn't very good, feel free to hold on to something. When you've done 5 in each direction, let's switch sides. Same on the other side. Good. And when you've done that, you're going to lower your legs down. And we're just going to do that little bit of a prance. So coming up onto the toes of one foot as you lift alternate heels. And your feet moving. Alright, we're going to do some little heel raises next. So feet are still hip width apart. We're going to come up onto the balls of the feet and then lower down nice and controlled. So you're trying not to let your ankles roll out to the side. You're trying to come straight up and then lower straight back down. As you come up this time, can you come up and hold at the top? And then slowly lower down without falling over. If you come too far forward onto your toes, it makes you go forward. Try that again. Come up to the top and hold, so you're on the balls of your feet, and then can you lower down super slow? Let's do one more like that. When you're ready, come up again onto the balls of your feet, and then lower down super slow. And then again, just give your feet a little pedal. And we're going to do our calf stretch next. So when you're ready, grab your half dome or your towel, whatever you've got, and place it down onto the floor. So again, you want the ball of your foot towards the top of your dome, heel down on the floor, and then step your other leg to about hip width. Try to keep your weight back through your heel of the leg that's on the dome. And then check in to make sure that you're not holding tension anywhere. So check your jaw, check your shoulders and your neck, make sure you're not all scrunched up. Again, ribs are relaxed, arms are down by your sides. Notice if you're gripping and holding through your thighs, can you try and let your thighs be as relaxed as possible? And once that stretch has started to ease a little bit, maybe see if you can step your leg a little bit further forwards. If it makes you feel like you're going to fall back, you've gone too far. Have a little feel there. Good, and just keep taking those deep breaths. And then we're going to switch and do the same on the other side. So just switching sides. Again, same thing, ball of the foot to the top, heel down, and all of your weight through your heel. Feet hip width. And relax your ribs down. Checking again, make sure your jaw is nice and relaxed, shoulders relaxed. How are those thighs doing on this side? Are they really tight? Can you let your thighs just relax a little bit? And can you step that free leg a little bit further forwards? And it might be different on this side to the other side, so try it and see how it feels. Alright, stepping off your dome, just keep it there because we're going to come back to it in a second, but we're going to take our feet really wide. And we're just going to slide our hips to one side and then to the other. So just slide your hips to one side and then the other. Gives you a nice little hip stretch, nice inner thigh stretch. And really push your hips as far one way as you can and then as far the other way as you can. We're going to do that, but we're going to fold forwards this time. So as you come through centre, you're going to hinge forwards from your hips and do the same thing. Push your hips to one side and then over to the other side. You can rest your hands on your thighs. Again, gives you a little bit of a deeper stretch. And it's nice to do this with your hands on a chair or on the kitchen worktop, or just when you just want to give yourself a little bit of a stretch. It's a really nice, easy one to do. We're going to come back up and do a double calf stretch this time. So grab your little dome again, and then have your feet up, both feet this time, balls of the feet on the top, heels down, and then hinging forwards from your hips. Again, you can have your hands on your thighs, sticking your bottom out, trying to keep all of your weight through your heels, so try not to really crush your dome or your towel, whatever you've got. And just take a couple of breaths here. And when you're ready, come up and out of that. Just give your legs a little shake again. And we're going to get rid of your dome. Just pop it to the side so that you're not going to fall over it. And we're going to come down onto the mat. Our knees bent and our feet flat on the floor. And just take a few breaths there. So just allow your spine to settle into the mat. So think about the back of the ribs being heavy, sinking down into the mat. Back of the pelvis anchored into the mat. Roll your chest and shoulders open. And just take a few breaths there. From here, we're going to go into a little pelvic tilt. So take a breath in, and as you exhale, you're going to tilt your pelvis towards you. Inhale as you tilt your pelvis away. Exhale, tilt towards you. So just move with the speed of your breath. And you're trying to keep everything else as fairly relaxed as you can. So don't be really squeezing your bottom here. We want it to be just the pelvis tilting, rather than you having to really squeeze your bum and create lots of tension everywhere else. So it's a really gentle, freeing movement, and it's really nice if you have a little bit of like low back ache and that sort of thing, because it just releases. Alright. So we're going to go from here into a spine curl. So just make sure you haven't got anything under your head when we do a spine curl. Arms are going to be down by your sides, palms are facing down. Take a breath. Tilt your pelvis towards you, and as you exhale, you're going to start to peel your spine up off the mat. Rolling through, so lifting your bottom, your lower back, your middle back. Pausing when you get to your shoulder blades, take a breath at the top, and then exhale and slowly, slowly roll your spine back down. Keep your eyes on the ceiling above you the whole time, just to keep your neck in really good alignment. And when you're ready, you're just going to roll up again. And then rolling down. So it's not about how high you come up, it's more about getting that sequential movement of the spine and trying to feel, is each part of your spine coming back down into the mat, or is there anywhere where it feels like it's just not quite coming all the way down? So I'm just going to do a couple more here. And when you get down to the bottom this time, you're going to stay down. And then you're going to pull your knees into your chest and just give your knees a little hug. And you can just rock gently side to side. So that's our spine curl, and obviously we're curling the spine up and down. So we also have the bridge, where we keep the spine straight and we lift the hips up to the ceiling. Excuse me, we're going to do that one next. So again, feet and knees are hip width apart, arms are anchored down by your sides. Take a breath, and as you exhale this time, we're not rolling, we're just going to press into the feet and lift your hips to the ceiling. We're going to come back down by folding at the hip and just lowering your bottom back onto the mat. And do that again. As you exhale, you're going to press into your feet and lift your hips to the ceiling. Inhale, you're just going to lower back down. Let's do a few more of those. Now, where you hold your weight in your feet is really important here as well. So, as you come down this time, what I want you to think about is really putting your weight into your heels, like you're trying to pull your heels closer to your bottom as you come up. And then to keep that, pulling the heels towards you. Let's just do a couple there. So when you're really pulling your heels towards you, you're working much more your hamstrings, so the back of your thigh. Now for the next couple, we're going to really put our weight more into our toes, more into the front of our feet, and lower down. So more into the front of your feet as you lift and lower. And there you can feel that it's changed a little bit, and now we're using much more the quads on the front of your thighs. As you lower down this time, we're just going to really anchor the feet really squarely into the mat so that your weight is really balanced, and just press up. So when your weight is really balanced and it's kind of in the middle of your foot, now we're really focusing more on glutes. Yeah, see if you can find that. So weight is really even on your feet, and you're really working the glutes as you lift and you lower. Let's just do two more. Finding those glutes working. And as you lower your bottom down this time, again, give your knees a little hug and just rock gently from side to side. Alright. Go back to feet hip width apart again. We want to make sure that our pelvis is coming up level this time. So if you want to, you can pop your hands on your hip bones like you've put your hands into your pockets. Take a breath, and as you exhale again, you're just going to lift your hips up towards the ceiling, and as you inhale, you're going to lower down. Notice, Does one side of your pelvis want to come up before the other side, or is it coming up really even? So we're just going to do a few of those. And now we're going to hold it halfway. So we're about halfway, pelvis is nice and level. Can you unweight one foot? So come onto the toes of one foot, and then keeping your pelvis really still, can you lift one leg away from the floor, bringing that leg into tabletop? Can you place that foot back down onto the mat, pelvis is still nice and level. Can you do the same on the other side? So come up onto your toes, and can you lift that leg? And lower. And go back to the other side. Do one more on each side. Trying to really keep that pelvis still, so your glutes on that standing leg side are working super hard, as well as your abdominals. Lower your bottom down, give your knees a little hug. And we're going to do that again. Alright. Feet back down onto the mat. This time we're going to take the arms off the floor. So we're going to have arms reaching up towards the ceiling, palms facing towards each other. We're going to again lift about halfway, and then let's do the leg lift again. Can you come onto the toes of one foot, keep your pelvis super still as you bring your leg into tabletop. Place that leg back down. How about the other side? Good, again switching sides. Try and keep your pelvis super still. We're going to do a few more here, keep going. Good. Can you do one more on each side? And as you lower your leg down, lower your bottom down, give your knees a little hug and just rock gently from side to side. Good. Alright, let's take our attention more to the front of the thighs now. We're going to go to our patella centering exercise now. So let's keep the left leg bent and straighten your right leg out long. Bring the legs close together so they're in that midline position. And again, we want that neutral pelvis, so making sure that your pelvis isn't tilted towards you. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, you're going to slowly reach that right leg away from you. Make it as long as you can and let it slowly lift, just until the knees are at the same height, and then you're going to lower that leg down. So you're lifting as you exhale, and you're lowering as you inhale. And just let your foot be fairly soft. It doesn't have to be really pointed or really flexed. You can do that absolutely if you want to, but I kind of like to just have my foot quite soft so that it really focuses the work on those abdominal muscles. Lift as you exhale. Keep reaching that leg away from you. You're creating your own resistance. You're thinking that this leg is super heavy, like you're in a big vat of treacle, like we've sort of been in a big vat of treacle. Let's do one more on this side. And then we're going to switch sides. So as you lower your leg this time, we're going to switch and do the same on the other side. Legs hugging in towards the midline, neutral pelvis. Take a breath, and as you exhale, you're lifting. And as you inhale, you're lowering. Foot is just soft. Good. Two more. Remember, that leg is super heavy. And as you lower your leg down, this time we're going to switch sides. So back to your first side. This time you're turning the thigh out from your hip socket. Exactly the same thing here. Take a breath, and as you exhale, you're lifting that leg just to get the knees at the same height. And inhale as you lower. Much more work in the inner thighs this time. So we really want the abdominals to be working hard for us here. So make sure that you aren't really pressing your standing foot into the mat. So can you just have that foot just balanced really gently on the mat, rather than pressing all of your weight down? We're going to do two more here. And then we're going to switch sides. So as you lower your leg down, switch and do the same on the other side. Turning the thigh out again. Make sure that you've not lost that neutral pelvis. Take a breath, and as you exhale, lift. As you inhale, lower. Keep reaching. Super heavy leg. Remember, you're in that treacle. Notice again how much weight you're putting through that standing leg. Last two here. Good job. And as you lower your leg down this time, we're going to bring the soles of the feet together and let your knees roll out to the side. Let's just release the inner thighs here. Reach your arms up to the ceiling. Let's give the hands a little stretch. Interlace your fingers and flip your hands over, pressing your palms to the ceiling to stretch. Keeping your ribs anchored into the mat, take your arms overhead, stretching into your hands, your arms, your shoulders. Couple of breaths here. When you're ready, bring your hands back up towards the ceiling. Bring your fingers apart, big stretch through your fingers, get as much space between your fingers as you can, and then circle your wrists around. And let's go the other way. And then gently pulling your fingers back, just to stretch out the fingers. Try and keep the fingers as straight as they can rather than letting the knuckles bend. And once you've done all of your fingers, you can just give them a little wriggle. And lowering your hands down. We're going to go onto our side now. We're going to do a little bit of side leg work. So when you're ready, rolling onto one side. You can have your arm out long with your head resting on your arm if you want to, or you can have your head propped in your hands. And we're going to reach those legs away and make your legs as long as you can. Check that you aren't left in the ribs. Reach forward so those ribs want to stay in, and then your other hand can anchor onto the floor. Reach that top leg away and let's lift and lower that leg. Keep reaching. Good, two more. And then we're going to do some front kicks now. So we're going to kick that leg forwards and then take it back. So here you're still trying to keep your pelvis super still, so you don't have to make it big, you can make it quite small if you want to. And as you take that leg back, we're opening out the hip, and again we're trying not to fall forwards. Nice. Alright, as you kick your leg forwards this time, we're going to hold it there. We're going to go into bicycle. So you're going to bend the knee, take the knee back, release the leg, and come forwards again. Good. We're going to do one more this way, and then we're just going to reverse that and go the other way. Ooh, last one. And as your leg comes down this time, you can lower that leg all the way down. Let's come on up and just give that hip a little stretch. So reaching both legs out in front. You're going to bring one leg in and cross it over to the other side. Sitting as tall as you can, twist towards that bent leg and scoop it up and pull it towards you. Alright, we're going to do the same on the other side now, so when you're ready, come down onto your other side. And again, find the position that works for you. Reaching your legs away. And when you're ready, we're going to lift and lower that top leg, so keep those ribs in. And you're making sure as you lift and lower your leg that you aren't just dumping into your waist so your whole pelvis is going. So by reaching that leg away, we're keeping length through the waist. Two more. And then we're going to try those little kicks again. So I'm going to bring that leg forwards and take it back. And if you're struggling to maintain your balance, you can bring your bottom leg forwards a little bit just to give you a little bit more stability. And that's fine. Good job. All right, are we ready for our bicycle? As you kick that leg forwards, this time hold it, bend the knee, take the knee back, and then release that leg and kick forwards. So nice and controlled. You can make that movement really kind of flow and be smooth. And when you finish that one, reverse and go the other way. Sometimes you have one side that's more coordinated than the other and it just kind of flows on one side and not so much on the other. Last one. And as your legs come together this time, you're going to lower your leg all the way down. Let's come up and stretch out that side now. So again, come on up to seated. Bring that leg in towards you. Cross it over to the other side and sit tall. And twist towards that bent leg again, using your arm to scoot that knee in towards your chest. And take a couple of breaths there. Okay, we're going to go down onto our front next. So when you're ready, come down onto your front. And we're going to do a little bit of hip extension here. So let's have hands on the mat, one on top of the other, and you can rest your forehead on your hands. Pubic bone is anchored, and then slightly tuck your tailbone just to give you that length through your lower back. And feet are either together or hip width apart, either is fine. You're going to reach one leg away from you, make that leg as long as you can and allow it to lift out of the mat, and then lower it down. Switch and do the same on the other side. Make that leg as long as you can and it will lift and lower. Keep going, keep switching sides. Making sure that your back is as relaxed as possible. You don't want to be using your lower back to lift the legs, so try and keep your back relaxed by keeping your pubic bone anchored. So here again, it's your glutes that are doing this work. So glutes in the back of your thigh should be feeling like they're doing quite a lot of work here. And really reaching that leg. Notice as you lift your leg, is your pelvis wanting to tilt? So is one hip bone wanting to come away from the mat? And you try and keep your pelvis really anchored so that it's just the leg that's moving. And that might mean that your leg doesn't lift very far off the mat, and that's okay. Alright, one more on each side. And then we're just going to push ourselves up and back into our rest position just to give our back a little bit of a stretch. So take your bottom back towards your heels and reach your arms forward, really stretch. And take a couple of breaths here. We're going to come back down onto our front again. So when you're ready, come back down onto your front. This time you're going to have your arms down by your sides. So palms are going to face in towards your thighs. And you can have your forehead down on the mat, or you can have it just hovering, but try and keep the back of your neck long, and we want no creases on the back of your neck. So we're going to do some work with our shoulders and our arms here. So I want you to reach both arms behind you towards the ceiling, and then lower them back down. So we're going to do a few of those. Notice here, if you're wanting to really press your ribs into the mat, can you keep your ribs pulled into your body and away from the mat? And then notice as you reach your arms to the ceiling, are your arms going wider? Can you try and keep them the same distance? So kind of pulling in towards each other the whole time. Two more like that. And then we're going to do single arm. Can you reach just one arm? How high can you lift that arm? Again, keeping it pulling in towards your body rather than flowing out to the side. And then just switch and do the same on the other side, reaching that arm back. Keep them pulling in towards your body rather than out to the side. And then we're going to take the hands behind your back and interlace your fingers and let your hands rest down on your bottom. And think about pulling your shoulder blades together in your back now. So you're going to pick your shoulders up off the mat and pull your shoulder blades in together. Squeeze, 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 squeeze your shoulder blades and then let them just relax. Going to do that again. You're going to pull your shoulder blades together. Can you think about bringing the bottom of your shoulder blades together, the middle of your shoulder blades and the top of them as you pull and then release. We're going to do one more like that. When you're ready, pull your shoulder blades together again. Get the bottom together, the middle together and the top together. Keeping the shoulder blades squeezing together. Can you lift your hands off your bottom and lifting them up towards the ceiling? Keep squeezing your shoulder blades and release your hands down. Let's go back into that rest position again. Bring your hands just in front of your shoulders and push yourself up and back, bottom back towards your heels and reach your arms forwards. A couple of breaths here. Let's stay in the child's pose, stay in the rest position. Can you walk your hands over to one side? So I'm going to the right, so walk your hands over to one side. And then whichever side you've walked your hands to, can you slide your hips to the opposite side? So you're leaning into the stretch. So my hands have gone to the right, my hips have slid over to my left, and I'm getting a really big stretch down the left side of my body. Just pause here, take a few breaths. If it feels like it's too much to slide your hips to the other side, just keep them in centre, that's fine. When you're ready, we're going to come back in through centre. We're going to go to the other side this time. So walking your hands to the other side. And then again, slide your hips into the stretch, just to give you that little bit more. And take some deep breaths there. When you're ready, you're going to walk your hands back into centre. Let your hands circle out to the sides and let your hands come down towards your feet now. Palms are facing up towards the ceiling and just allow yourself to relax here. So we're taking any pressure off the shoulders, let your shoulders just relax. And when you're ready, we're going to go all the way back down onto our front again. So take your time, come all the way back down onto your front. So from here we're going to go into our quad stretch. So we're going to bend one knee and then reach your hand back and try and grab your ankle if you can. If you're struggling, you can use your a strap or something just to help you find it. And we're just going to stay here. And just take some deep breaths and just allow your body to relax down into the mat. You can have your head resting down nice and relaxed. So notice whether to get into this position you've had to lift your hip bones away from the mat, so sometimes we have to flex at the hip. Can you try and find space through the front of your hip to allow that hip bone to come back down onto the mat? So you're releasing rather than trying to force it and muscle it down. And just keep taking some deep breaths. Think about length through that thigh bone. So I think about that knee stretching away from me down towards the bottom of the mat, thinking about creating space. Alright, and then we're going to release that leg. We're going to do the same on the other side, so bend in the other leg. Reach your hand back and again try and grab your ankle if you can. And then let your head relax down. So notice on this side, have you had to again flex at the hip? Have you had to lift your hip bones away from the mat in order to get here? And if you have, try and find space through the front of your hip. Think about sending your knee away from you, down towards the bottom of your mat to give you more space. more length. Just take a few more deep breaths here. And then we're going to release that leg. We're going to go back to the first leg. This time you're going to bend the knee out to the side. So bend the knee and slide that leg out to the side. So now we're stretching out the inner thighs. And again, you can let your head rest down. We want to be as relaxed as possible. When we do any release work, we don't want to be creating extra tension. So once you're here, you're going to notice again, has your hip bone had to lift away from the mat in order to get your knee here? And if it has, you're going to try and send that knee away from you. Try and create more space in the hip to allow your hip bone to release back down. And with each exhale, you're relaxing and releasing more into the mat, like you're sinking down into the mat. So this movement and the next one is an exercise that it's really good to spend quite a bit of time in, but it's quite boring in a class if I just lay here in silence, much as actually you might like that. So we're going to go straight to the straight leg version. So straighten that leg out now, rather than it being bent, it's just the same but straight. But if you do this in your own time, hold it for longer. Kind of just spend some time in each position, just taking some deep breaths. Maybe put some music on, or you could read in this position. Just spend some time here. Really give your body time to release. Again, with that leg straight, notice how far your hip bone is lifted away from the floor. Can you get it any lower down into the floor? But you don't want to be forcing your body into a position that it's not ready for. So we're always being kind. And being aware. Good. When you're ready, you're going to bend that knee and bring that leg back in. We're going to do the same on the other side. I'm just going to turn around just so it's a little bit easier for me for space. And then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to bend your other knee out to the side. Think about that hip bone. Has it lifted high away from the mat to get you here? Can you send your knee away from you and allow that hip bone to relax back down? Is it the same on this side as it was on the other side, or is one side tighter than the other? That's quite normal. Taking some deep breaths again. With each exhale, you're sinking down deeper into the mat. This one is really good for the mobility of your hip joint. Really good way to make sure that you keep your own hips for the rest of your life. And then we're going to straighten that leg out. So same leg is now straight. And once you're in position, you're going to check and see, has your hip bone again had to lift away? Can you get that hip bone to anchor back down into the mat? And it might feel like quite a big stretch on your inner thigh. Good. I love how your cat is such a character, Bridget. Just like it's just stretched its way all across the screen. It's just big stretches. When you're ready, bring that leg back in. We're going to push ourselves up and back into our rest position again. Take your bottom back towards your heels and stretch. turn over now. So when you're ready, turn over onto your back again. And we're going to keep the left leg bent. We're going to bring the right knee in towards our chest and really pull that knee in towards you. Let's get a good stretch into the hip. So we're going to keep our tailbone anchored but pull the knee in as far as you can. And then keeping hold of that right leg, you're going to straighten it up towards the ceiling. Get that leg as straight as you can. Still got your tailbone anchored, and then we're going to point and flex our foot here. We're trying to get as much movement through the ankle joint as you can. And then we're going to circle our foot around, so really slow, deliberate circles. Watching how your foot and ankle moves, and then reverse and go the other way. Good, and then pull that knee back into your chest again, give it a good stretch. And we're going to release that leg and bring the other one in this time. So again here, tailbone is staying anchored. We're pulling the knee in as far as we can, but keeping the pelvis anchored. And then straightening your leg up towards the ceiling. Get it as straight as you can. Keep hold of it. And again, let's move through the ankle. So we're pointing and flexing. Is it the same on this side as the other side? And then again, there's nice, slow, deliberate circles. Notice how your foot and ankle are moving. And then reverse and go the other way. And then pull your knee back into your chest again. Pull it really deep into your chest. And then release that leg down. So we're going to go into our number 4 stretch now. So you're going to bring one leg up and then cross your ankle over your opposite knee. And the knee that's gone across, we're going to really send that knee away from us. So we're really opening out the knee. Now you can keep your foot down on the floor, that supported leg, or you can lift that leg and hold behind your thigh. So you're holding behind that supporting thigh, or you've still got your foot down on the floor. Both of those are fine, so just do whichever feels better for you right now. We're still trying to open out that knee away from us, giving us a real deep stretch into the hip and into your piriformis muscle there as well. Alright, when you're ready, we're going to lower that leg down, uncross your legs, and we're going to do the same on the other side. So the other leg is going to come up, ankle is going to cross over your knee, sending your knee out to the side, just holding here. And this might be enough for you today. You're absolutely fine to stay in this position. This is a really nice stretch. Or if you want to, you can float that standing leg up, and that just takes the stretch a little bit deeper if you're ready for that and if it feels good. And just take some breaths there. Still opening out that knee, so watch that that knee isn't kind of rolling, pointing towards your nose. Keep it out to the side. And then when you're ready, lowering your standing leg down and release your other leg. Let's go back into the cobbler stretch. So soles of the feet together, knees out to the side. Just holding here. You can kind of rock a little bit here if that feels good to you. Sometimes it feels nice to just move in a stretch or a release position rather than just holding it still. So kind of have a little play and see what feels good to you there. Okay, and then we're going to bring our knees together. And we're going to roll onto our side. We're going to have the knees bent. Your bottom arm is going to be out along the floor. We're going to do the crocodile. And your top arm is going to come to rest on top of that bottom arm. Feel free to grab something for under your head. If you feel like you need a cushion or something, feel free. So we're going to make sure that our knees stay anchored down on the floor so that our pelvis stays super still. And we're going to move the upper body now. So as you inhale, you're going to reach that top arm forwards. It's going to go up towards the ceiling, and you can allow your head to follow your arm if that feels good to you, and take that arm back behind you. So pelvis stays still and the rib cage is twisting in the opposite direction. Just go as far as you feel that you can, and then just hold and take a couple of breaths there. And when you're ready, start to slowly bring the arm back up and all the way over. So you never want to kind of create tension and stress in your body. We're going to go again. It's all about just moving your body gently and allowing it to release in a safe way so that it feels good. Again, just go as far as you can, but so that you can still breathe, you can still speak. It feels okay. And then when you're ready, you're going to slowly bring the arm back up and over. We're going to do one more time on this side. So by the third time, it's usually easier. You can usually get a little bit further. And when you're ready, again, slowly come up. And all the way over. So we're going to do the same on the other side. So roll onto your back and go the other side. I'm just going to turn around to make it a little bit easier. So again, get your set up. Bottom arm is out straight, top arm on top, head is down, and you can always grab a cushion if you need to. Keeping your knees anchored and your pelvis still. You're going to reach your top arm forwards and up towards the ceiling. And then allow your rib cage to twist, your upper body's moving away and open out. Just go as far as you can control and as far as you can still breathe and speak. You don't want to be creating any unnecessary tension. When you're ready, start to slowly bring the arm back up and over. When you're ready, we're going to go again. Reach your arm forwards and up and over. Again, when you get to your maximum position, just hold for a couple of breaths. And when you're ready, come back. We're going to do one more time on this side. When you're ready, go again. And third time, it's usually a little bit easier, usually moving more freely. And this is another one that you could kind of practice in your own time and just spend time here. Taking some deep breaths and allowing your body to release into that position. When you're ready, all the way back up. And close the crocodile's mouth. When you're ready, you're going to roll gently onto your back. And then pulling your knees into your chest. You're going to take hold of your knees and rock gently side to side. Let's just release any tension and tightness through your lower back. And then when you're ready, we're going to come on up to seated. So take your time, but come on up to seated. And feel free to grab a cushion or something to sit on if you like. You feel like something would just make you a little bit more comfortable. I'm not going to be here for too long. We're just going to do some little stretches here. So we're going to bring the backs of the hands together. We're going to do reverse prayer hands. So backs of the hands are touching. Feel like your fingers just slightly interlace and get your thumbs together. And then pull your thumbs as far away from your fingers as you can. keeping the backs of the hands together, you're going to lower your hands down. You're trying to get your forearms kind of parallel to the floor. Notice if that's made your shoulders round. Can you keep your shoulders relaxed and down? Just take a couple of breaths there. Good. All right, and then release that. Give your fingers a little wriggle. I'm going to bring your elbow in by your side, palm faces up towards the ceiling, and then use your other hand to pull your fingers back. So I don't want the fingers to kind of buckle and bend at the knuckles. You're trying to keep your fingers straight and then pull them back. And then we're just going to gently pull each finger in turn back. Again, try and keep them as straight as you can, and notice how much extension you have available on each of those fingers. Is it the same on all of them? And then you can compare it to the other hand. And then maybe do different combinations, so maybe doing 2 fingers at a time. And maybe doing like your little finger and your middle finger, just kind of making sure that you've stretched all of the parts. And then let's do the same on the other side. So elbow tucks in by your side, palm faces up towards the ceiling. And then use your other hand again to pull your fingers back. Notice again here, is any of the knuckles wanting to buckle? Can you keep your fingers straight as you pull them back? Is it the same on this side? And then again, just gently pulling each finger in turn back. So again, checking how much range of movement you have on this side. And maybe doing those different combinations again. Fingers, just kind of making sure that everywhere has been moved and stretched. And then once you've done those, you're just going to give them a little wriggle. And then we're going to reach the thumbs towards each other and let's circle the thumbs around. Can you do really big circles with your thumbs? And then can you circle your thumbs the other way? Alright, and then do thumbs up. And grab your thumb with your other hand and really grab right down at the base of the thumb and kind of just move your thumb side to side, front to back, maybe doing little circles. So just really thinking about moving that thumb around. And then use your thumb and the knuckle of your first finger to really get into the skin, the flesh between your thumb and your first finger, and give it a little massage. So don't be afraid to get in there, looking for any little knots, any little bits of tension, and just giving it a little bit of love. And then we're going to do the thumb on the other side. So thumbs up on the other side. Again, grab your thumb right at the base and move it around side to side, front to back. Maybe doing some circles, just kind of making sure that you've moved it around in all planes. And then again, just get in there and just give it a little bit of massage. Alright guys, that is you done. Well done. Give your fingers a wriggle, just give your shoulders a wriggle, turn your head side to side. I hope you feel like you've moved everything.